Hello and welcome to another video for Hosk CRM Dev. Today's video will be looking at Hosk's articles, top CRM articles of the week. 2nd of May already, golly. Okay, so let's start off with Dynamic CRM Reminders. This is a great blog post from Yucca Khan. Basically talking about reminder workflows. Every CRM developer will probably have to face doing some reminder workflows. And basically he goes through this and sort of concentrates on the main aspects of the reminder workflow and kind of giving you a best practices. Because what you'll do, usually you'll search the internet, there'll be a bunch of different examples, you'll try and change them to suit your needs, and you might muck it up. And the problem is, if you muck this up, you can either create lots of workflows, you'll create workflows which aren't stopping. You can, if you muck up the trigger points, you can get multiple workflows triggered. So, and there's a bit of head scratching to make sure you get it right. And he makes a good point. He says this is done right. It's a bold comment, but even if it isn't totally correct, it does make you think of the important points and the logic that you'll need to implement. So this is my article of the week. So if you're going to read one article, make sure it's this one. He sort of focuses on start conditions, what triggers off your workflow, and he goes through a scenario of an opportunity. The wait conditions. He mentions actually that your workflow should usually end succeeded unless there is a sort of reason why they haven't. Even so, what he's saying here is basically you kind of manage the workflow and sort of succeed even if it's just not doing anything. You say that it is worked correctly and nothing's gone wrong. He also mentioned the point that change of date. So usually your reminder workflow will be triggered. Like the sort of obvious example is a birthday. But what happens if they change their birthday? That's not a very good scenario. But in an opportunity, they may change the opportunity, to which then you'll need to sort of adjust your workflow to stop itself and then start itself again, triggered on the correct date. And then he's got kind of sending out a reminder and then linking it back to continue again. It's a very good blog post. This picture here is sort of summarizes it up nicely. Date reach, send that. Very good. Definitely look at that one. And even if you don't actually need to do one now, bookmark it or note it down for later, because you definitely will come back and have to do one of those at some point, I should think. CRM VP Q&A this week is Carsten Groth from Germany. Man with the one eye there. That's another interesting article. I always enjoy reading about the MVP's sort of opinions to the questions I've posed for them. And this shows you how busy MVPs can be, because you can see how many speaking he's doing. And in fact, he's made a tool there when he was in Extreme. And he's doing blog posts. So you can see that MVPs certainly earn their status. I always like the Rockstar highlights. The record number of 2011 exams. There's only 4, for goodness sake. And when he's leading in 2013 as well. An MVP 2 years, so there you go. Right. This one's good. Dynamic CRM Quick Tip Bulk Field Attribute Edits. Now, I assume this is a new piece of functionality, because I've just never done it. But basically, you can select a bunch of fields in your sort of solutions or customization options and edit them all at the same time and all the same values. So that's quite a cheeky little piece of functionality there. Are they saying that? I'm not really sure what you need to do to edit multiple fields, but at least you know you can now. Keyboard shortcuts. Now, I never realized that a browser-based application would have shortcuts, but anything to ease the navigation woes that we've been experiencing, the Control S is quite a nice one, and there's sort of shifts. So there's a few there which might make it a little bit easier. I'm not too convinced. Open a search, open spacebar, arrow keys, but they're useful to know. You know, even if you find only a couple of these are useful, then considering the amount of time you'll be working in CRM and moving between sort of fields and tabs and stuff, it could save you a lot of time. Anyway, so it's good to know. Have a look at that. Check out, see if you can find any shortcuts you might find useful. This one I like a lot actually. The Jason Latimer's blog. He's a CRM MVP. He has got a JavaScript. So in CRM 2013, we've got this new notification, which basically pops a bar up at the top of the screen. There, you can see. I like these people having kind of GIFs on their blogs. Enjoying that. It puts a kind of message at the top. Basically, CRM 2013 has moved away from JavaScript alerts and has gone to notifications. I think this is because so it will work in the mobile area, and it's not popping up any more annoying browsers. But what he's done here is he's also putting a little wait so that it pops up a message, the user sees it, and then it hides it away once the timeout is finished, which is kind of very nice and tidy idea. I think, you know, it's quite simple, but not something I never thought of before. So I like that. It's clever. It's tidy. Now this is often a kind of question on the forums: how to set up document management, SharePoint Online, CRM Online. You get a lot of these people going, "How do I do it?" There's not an easy answer. You have to wade through and set them both up. But here is a kind of step-by-step guide. He goes through it all. Very useful. So this is one of those ones you bookmark, or if you're working with CRM a lot, that you may need to do it. And so he's done a good little guide for you. This one of my ones. This is MB2 703 customization configuration. This just goes over the security roles and business units, and it kind of gives you information that you might need for the exam, kind of the limitations of business units and security roles, and what happens and what doesn't happen, and what happens when you delete or disable things or reparent business units. These are the kind of knowledge you need to know for the exam. It's a good article. That took me quite a while to write. This one's open a dialog box like a CRM. Open dialog box like CRM 2013. So basically, what they're doing here is they're just opening a custom web resource that looks a little bit like the dialog boxes in CRM 2013, but it's just got some kind of different functionality, and it's not really a dialog box at all. It's just got a couple of options. Well, it's just a page really, just a web resource page which he triggers some stuff off. But it's nice. It's quite clever really that I'm assuming it's a he, that it's got the look and feel correct, and that's often tricky. So that's just an interesting little thought, and he's got the solution there if you want to have a look at that. This was, I think someone tweeted this, but there's a JavaScript course for absolute beginners, and it's quite in depth really. You've got, 21 areas to sort of study. Each one is quite in depth. It goes through all the basics of writing JavaScript. So if that's something you're looking to get into, it's definitely worth looking at. And even if you are happy with JavaScript, it's got a bit of like jQuery. And I'm not very good at jQuery, so I had a look at that. Oh, pardon me. Then you've also got jQuery, JSON, and Ajax. So it's a free course. So that's something to get interested in if you like that. Now this article is about business rules. Now I don't call them portable business logic. I don't know why Microsoft are trying to make us call them that, but I'm not going to. Basically, business rules they're kind of like they're the new functionality in Crm 2013, which allows you to do sort of like things you'd normally do with JavaScript, like hiding forms, calculations, showing different fields based on the values of other fields, and it allows you to do it kind of using a GUI, a bit like sort of like a little workflow, but less complex. And what's important is they work in the mobile client, so maybe one time in the future when people use mobile clients. I've not seen any yet. It'd be good when businesses start to buy us all tablets to play with at work, but I'm not really seeing it much at the moment. But doesn't mean it won't come true, of course. But basically, this is talking about. He's got a business rule example, and he's really sort of mentioning the fact that business rules really come in pairs. One to do the functionality, like hide or show. So if you had business rules to show something, then you need another reverse business rule to hide it. And he kind of just goes through that sort of task, showing you how to do that, reminding you need to. Because what will happen usually when you first do a business rule, you'll do one, and then you'll think, oh, it's not unhiding it now. I've got nothing in that field, and that's because you have to do them in pairs. But that's a good little example to go through. Power objects. This was a blog post from me. I had a cheeky little problem this week where I was doing a dialogue date and time, and basically I was using the execution time and it was erroring for some reason, but I added on a minute and it fixed it. I don't know why that works, but you may have this frustrating problem, and so then you'll be coming back here to my page to have a look at that. This is one of those Crm 2013 kind of gotchas, or this to me describes the fact that in Crm 2013 they took away certain things, they've changed the UI, and sort of things are perhaps missing or not working as they were, and people want some of that functionality back. And as the Crm community gets used to Crm 2013, we're finding ways to add the functionality we want back, and this is one of them. Basically, you can the save a new button whilst creating child records is missing, and for some reason Microsoft have hidden it. And so basically he goes through here using the Crm 2013 Ribbon Workbench by Scott Giroux. He just unhides it, changes the rule, the display rules, so that it's showing, and there you can see it pops it back in there. I find it confusing why Microsoft have hidden these things like advanced finds and these kind of buttons that people used. But there we go. So if you are wanting that back, he just goes through showing you how to do that. And finally, the Hosk does a Crm 2013 is a very simple tool, and it just adds an advanced find on every record form. So things like contacts, accounts, or any your custom entities, any rule, any record, and it'll add an advanced find in the treble dots hidden in there. You can move it in a more prominent position if you wish, but it's just a simple solution. Import it, and then you have advanced find in all your records. It's beautiful. It's simple but very effective. I like that one a lot. And then we've got some videos. You've got Robert Pellady going through customizing charts. This can be tricky if you haven't done it before, so that's quite a good video to have a look at, so you can get an idea of what you need to do and getting around some of the common tricky bits in customizing your charts. And then we've got just a plugin, 2013 plugin step-by-step guide to create. So the plugin, I basically go through using the CRM developer toolkit, and I create a plugin that's triggered on the create of an account record, and then it creates a follow-on task for a couple of weeks' time. So it's quite simple. It just goes through the steps that you would need to do that. Video review of advanced find, and a JavaScript diagnostic page, just a little very quick one. Basically, there's a diagnostic page within CRM, and if you just put in the right URL, you'll get it, and it just tells you the kind of speed of your JavaScript, how fast it's running. So it's a useful tool for when perhaps certain users are saying they've got slow performance. You can run this to see if it's any sort of problem with their Internet Explorer or their connection, etc. So that's quite just a useful thing to try and know about.